You know, sometimes life throws you a curveball that turns your quiet little world upside down. And before you know it, you're in the middle of a neighborhood war that feels straight out of a bad sitcom. Except it's real. And it hurts. Picture this: the backyard pool, my one slice of peace, looking like a giant slushy of wet cement. And there stands Brenda Hargrove, our HOA queen bee, arms crossed, smirking like she'd just won the lottery. That was the moment everything snapped for me. 10 hours later, she's in cuffs, and I'm left wondering how a simple splash zone became a battlefield. Let me take you back, folks. My name's Alex Turner, 42, single dad after a messy split, just trying to keep my head down in Willow Creek Meadows, this cookie-cutter suburb with its fake waterfalls, nosy newsletters, and endless debates over lawn heights. I bought the split-level house 5 years ago, thinking it'd be a fresh start for me and my kid. But my real escape was that old above-ground pool out back. My grandpa put it in back in '98, and I fixed it up myself during lockdown, watching endless how-to videos while sipping cheap beer. It wasn't some luxury spa, just a spot to float and forget the world, you know? But Brenda, she saw it as a blight on her perfect vision of the neighborhood, like it offended her sense of order. Deep down, I think it was more than that. She'd lost her husband a few years back in a freak accident involving a faulty hot tub, and ever since, anything with water set her off, like she was projecting her grief onto everyone else's fun. She clawed her way to HOA president because no one else cared enough to run, and suddenly she wielded that gavel like a weapon, enforcing rules that twisted her personal vendettas into community standards. It started small, those passive-aggressive jabs that chip away at your sanity. The first was a neon pink sticky note on my mailbox. Stagnant water breeds pests, HOA code 7.2.4. I shrugged it off, figuring she was just bored, but then came the photos slipped under my door at dawn. Snapshots of my pool with big red circles scrawled around the ladder, captions screaming, "Hazard alert," in all caps. She dug up some ancient HOA bylaws from 2003 about aquatic installations, which were meant for fountains or something, not pools, but Brenda twisted them like pretzels to fit her agenda. I felt this knot in my gut, you know? That inner voice saying, "Don't engage, Alex, she's not worth it." But ignoring her only fueled the fire. She called an urgent assembly on suburban fluid risks. And get this, only 4 folks showed, including her yappy little dog in a sweater. She ranted for an hour with slides showing mosquito swarms and drowning stats, her voice rising like she was preaching Armageddon. I sat there, arms folded, thinking about my late grandpa and how that pool was his legacy, a place for family laughs, not this nonsense. One guy dozed off mid-presentation, and Brenda shot him a glare that could curdle milk. Things escalated when I found my sprinkler system zip-tied shut one foggy morning, a laminated card attached. Water allocation pending review, compliance mandatory. That's when the anger bubbled up, hot and real. I'd worked 2 jobs to afford this place, and here she was, treating me like a criminal for wanting a dip on a hot day. I confided in my cousin Marco over a late-night call. He's this burly guy from Jersey. Runs Turner Paving Pros, a no-nonsense outfit of tough-talking crews who poured driveways like artists. He chuckled at first, that deep rumble of his. Sounds like a real piece of work, cuz. Let me know if she crosses the line. But I waved him off, not wanting to drag family into my mess. Boy, was I wrong. The breaking point hit on a lazy Sunday while I was out grabbing groceries. Came home to chaos. My security cams caught it all. Brenda rolling up with her 2 sidekicks. These retired busybodies in matching visors, hauling 4 massive bags of dry mix over the fence like thieves in broad daylight. She dumps them in, powdery clouds billowing up, then grabs my hose, my own damn hose, and turns it on, stirring it with a rake while cackling to her phone camera. "Today, we enforce harmony. Say goodbye to this eyesore, Willow Creek." She posted the video on the HOA group chat, tagging everyone, her caption dripping with triumph. "Justice served, dry and solid." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. My oasis turned to sludge, gray, lumpy mush that mocked every hour I'd spent maintaining it. Rage hit me like a wave. This wasn't just vandalism, it was personal, an attack on my sanctuary, born from her twisted need to control everything after her own loss shattered her world. I dialed Marco, voice shaking. "She did it, man. She wrecked it all." He went quiet, then growled, "Stay put. Document every inch. We're handling this Tuesday." Tuesday dawned like payback wrapped in thunder. Marco pulls up at dawn in his battered truck, crew in tow, power tools humming, and this goofy drone he nicknamed Mixmaster Elite buzzing overhead. They were a sight. One guy brewing coffee on the engine block, another cracking jokes in thick accents about concrete karma. By lunch, they'd drained the mess, chipped it out chunk by chunk, photographing each step like detectives. Marco's idea, to build an ironclad case. Then he strides over to Brenda's pristine colonial next door, invoice in hand, 7.42 for illegal material deployment and aggravated paving interference, terms he probably invented, but they sounded legit. She opens the door, feigning surprise. What on earth is this about? Her voice all sugar and steel. Marco doesn't blink, pulls up her own video on his phone. Care to explain this, lady? Her face drains white, eyes darting like a trapped animal, but she stammers. It was interpretive enforcement. We both knew it was deeper, her grip on power slipping, jealousy over my simple joys clashing with her rigid rules. The counterpunch landed hard when the local news van screeched in. Someone anonymous, okay, maybe me, tipped them off with the footage. It aired that evening. HOA horror. Neighbor cements pool and vigilante act. Brenda's viral moment, her rant about banishing watery woes playing on loop. Cops showed up at her door by nightfall. I watched from my window as they cuffed her, her protests echoing, "This is tyranny against tidiness." Arrested for breaking and entering, destruction of property, and some obscure ordinance on waste dumping. But oh, the trial. That was poetry. Brenda struts in like a warrior, power blazer and all, claiming it was symbolic protest against neighborhood neglect. The judge, this sharp-witted vet with zero patience, snorts, "Symbolic. Try criminal mischief with a side of delusion." She tries self-defense, waving a folder of HOA edicts highlighted in rainbow markers, objecting wildly. I object, on grounds of visual pollution. The courtroom chuckles. Even the bailiff cracks a smile. In her final plea, she goes full drama. I'm like Gandhi standing against the flood of disorder. Jurors bite their lips to stifle laughs. One lady excuses herself, wheezing. I hit back with a lawsuit. Damages, stress, the works. My lawyer, a shark Marco knew, lays out her harassment trail. 19 nagging emails over months. Posts branding me a puddle perpetrator. Jury's out 45 minutes. She owes full repairs plus $22,000 in extras. A hefty fine, 250 hours picking up litter, and mandatory chill-out sessions therapy. The HOA boots her that night, unanimous, her own cronies turning coat as she shrieks, "You'll rue this betrayal." Restraining order follows, no closer than 150 feet to my yard's wet spots. Her job at the upscale brokerage, gone the next day, bosses citing reputational rot. She stands there on her lawn, pink slip fluttering, muttering about plots and payback. Her empire crumbled because she couldn't let go of her pain, turning it into poison for us all. But fate wasn't done. The feds piled on when they traced her mailed complaints to City Hall, falsely reporting my pool as a biohazard lagoon via USPS, plus bogus EPA tips calling it a spill site. Mail fraud, false filings, up to 7 years if it sticks. At the hearing, she collapses in a heap, fainting dead away. Medics revive her, but she waves off the water bottle. Not unless it's certified pure. No tricks. Her attorney bails mid-rant about conspiratorial currents. 3 months probation, $18,000 more in penalties, her life in tatters. All from meddling in my haven, driven by unresolved loss and a hunger for dominance that blinded her to boundaries. Looking back, it changed me. Taught me to stand firm, but also question if revenge went too far. Was her downfall justice or just another cycle of hurt? I mean, yeah, she deserved consequences. But watching her unravel, it leaves you wondering about grace and grudges. What do you think, folks? Ever dealt with a neighbor from hell or been on the wrong side of HOA hellfire? Drop a comment below, share your stories, debate if I overplayed my hand or how communities should really handle these clashes. Hit like if this hit home, subscribe for more real-life tales, and let's keep the conversation flowing. Thanks for listening.